Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Napoleon and today we're back with another Enlisted episode about the Enlisted news. And this time we have something extremely big, so big that literally I think all of Enlisted is going to be dependent on this one single news thing. And when I mean the success and fail of Enlisted, I literally mean that. But that said, let's get started. This week we have the Enlisted roadmap, which I did cover, so watch that video instead of this. The Soviet Army and Navy Day, which is coming up very soon. And the new progression system, which is the key and the most important thing as of this week. So without further ado, let's get started. Of course, this video has been made possible for the friends at Discord, meaning that if you haven't liked, subscribed, or joined Discord, highly suggest that you do. But that said, let's get started. Number one we have is the Enlisted roadmap. I kind of already made a video about this, explaining this, and all you have to do is just to watch that video and you should be fine. Next thing is the Soviet Red Army Day, and this is the discounts. From the 27th of February to 1300 UTC time, you'll get a 30% discount on all Soviet premium squads for gold in the Battle of Moscow. These include the 124th Tank Regiment with the Katyusha rocket launchers on a T-60 light tank chassis and barrage of 82mm rockets. There's also a lot of other stuff enlisted too. But that said, that's all it for the Red Army Day. The biggest thing that we have for today is the progression system and matchmaking. In this dev blog, we share you the upcoming major changes of the game, the research tree. In the update of Enlisted, we move away from the linear progression to a research tree format, and you can already choose which weapons or vehicles you want to unlock first, or skip entire branches if you don't need any. From what we are looking at, the rifles are in one tree, the sniper rifles are in a sub-tree from what I have been seeing, or they're in a tree, and all currency is with research points. So that means if you want to research something, all you have to do is research points. Now, my question is, I don't really quite understand how they are going to implement the gold order weapons that we have, or other like premium squads that we have. Well, I do have idea of the premium squad, but I don't know really how they're going to implement the event weapons and stuff like that. But let's continue on. As you can see from this image, we have the battle quarters, shop, weaponry, and there's Axis and Allies again, so that's going to be interesting. But as you can see, all rifles, submachine guns, tanks, planes, and heavy equipment, which include anti-tank weapons, flamethrowers, mortars, are grouped in one section, which is very interesting. But that said, let's move on to the next interesting thing. In the next update of Enlisted, in the updated Enlisted, you can upgrade one country once and for all. This means that you do not have to upgrade every Moscow again. So you don't have to play Soviet Berlin, you don't have to play Soviet Moscow, and you do not have to play Soviet Stalingrad. You only have to play the Soviets. That's it. Next start, the need to start of the progression has already been a familiar nation in each campaign will be over. Many commanders will discover a new theater of war, which had been previously avoided due to the prospect of long development from scratch. Basically, you can play on more maps. Now, for everyone's biggest question is now, will your progression as of right now be scratched? And the answer is no. You will have the exact same progression. And there are going to be a lot more questions than answers, because I have a lot more questions than answers personally, so we have to see what the Enlisted releases with the dev blogs. A further improvement allows from this game has no less significant. In the update Enlisted, all campaigns and hundreds of missions will be combined into one pool. So for example, you can be playing a battle in Stalingrad, and then the next time you can be playing the Battle of Berlin, once again for the Soviets. Or if you want to play as the Italians, which I think has been confirmed as a faction. I don't know about the rest from what the British have said. I don't know if the British are confirmed as a faction, but I think they should be. At least, I hope they are. New campaigns will be appearing in Enlisted. With their release, we'll be launching new game events. And basically, they're just going to add these campaigns into the game, but not onto the map. Also, another interesting thing is about the historical accuracy is that the fact that there's not going to be really any historical accuracy at this point. There are going to be like uniform historical accuracy. For example, if you choose the Soviets as for Berlin, then what you're going to have are going to have Soviet uniforms for that time. But I don't know what about the equipment, so that is really bit confusing. From what I understand, the equipment is going to be on your progression tree, so you will be seeing RD-44s in, let's say, Moscow or Stalingrad. And of course, if you get a map in Stalingrad, you're going to be getting Stalingrad uniforms, and if you play in Moscow, you'll be getting the Soviet 1941 uniforms, which is very, very interesting. Which just raises the question, if you're playing as the Italians and you get a map for, say, Berlin, does that mean you get new uniforms? Which I highly doubt, by the way. new rating and matchmaking systems because of the whole hell of a new system. What we're getting now is the fact that we're getting uniforms and equipment based on what equipment you have. So basically, the higher equipment you have is like a battle rating now. The equipment you have is determines which game you go into. For example, everyone should be having the exact amount of equipment. For example, I assume the Germans are going to be getting the MKB-42 versus the Soviet PPSH spam, and that is going to be quite interesting. But if there are not enough players in the queue, which means there are going to be a lot of interesting stuff, and there are going to be a lot of stuff that newcomers will have, and judging by the current enlisted situation right now, there's not a lot of players, but I hope that will change very soon. The matchmaker will just assemble a classic session without taking ranking into account, and I do not know what that means, except for the fact that basically you can have bolt action rifles against FG-42-2s. That is literally how bad the situation could potentially be. And I heard a lot of people already complaining about this, which is a problem, so that's a potential problem that Enlisted should solve, but so far, so good. We have custom matches, and we have keeping your progress. Like I said, there's not going to be a lot of issues regarding to progress. Now, everyone is going to be asking a lot of questions. Honestly, I have a lot of questions myself because this dev blog solves some of my questions, not all of my questions. It's been confirmed that the research cred is going to be using these experience points, which are going to be getting weapons. So think of War Thunder, but think of the squads, and you should be fine. But that said, that is all it for today, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the Discord. Comment in the comment section down below if you have questions, because I certainly have, even after reading this. And of course, Enlisted is not just stopping there. We are heading on to new and more experienced stuff. There will be another dev blog. We tell about your squad progression, which I think is really important, and a new order system with new currency, like rewarding players for joining a random siphon battle and stuff like that. But that said, guys, that's all it for today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the Discord. I'll see you in the next one.